Hey y'all, I'm back at it again with a back at it again, And I just wanted to let me get this camera straight. Let me get this camera straight for you guys. I just wanted to, you know, come to you guys with some quick thoughts that I had real quick. So I was able to, get another job and everything, but I don't really know. It was just like too many red flags, to start and begin with. First off, the job that I applied to, it's peak season now, so it's $19 an hour. The job that I applied to now was supposed to be part time, and it was supposed to be more than what they were offering. Well, lost you guys. It was supposed to be more than what they were offering, but it just seems to me as though like it's not what it seems. And you know, I don't want to spill the beans too much, but I you know tried to get like a part-time type job at UPS. But it just seems as though like the job isn't what it seems. So once I applied through an accelerated track. They hire you right away and everything, part time, twilight hours and everything. So I was like, okay, great. This is something that I can do, after my, you know, full time job. But it just seems as though, they want me to come in, at exactly at 5:30. If I come in any later, like they'll send me home. They want me to second thing that they want is they want um, they want to be able to have you work more hours and things like that, which is fine with me, but I'm going to be getting more out of being on unemployment, and not only that, but like the being on working my new job overtime than I'm doing this UPS job. And then the second red flag was I was supposed to be okay. 19. It would say up to $19 an hour on the application. I applied and everything, and all of a sudden I get an email back saying, "Oh, it's $17 an hour." April Fools, right? So then when I get there, I'm thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna be part time, every single day." But apparently it's part time until January 21st or whatever, and then I can like appeal their decision to my supervisor and tell them, oh, like I'm a hard worker, whatever, whatever. And hopefully they have a position for me later on, which I'm not necessarily fond of that either. So a part of being part time, I'm seasonal. Second red flag. Third red flag, while I was in training, there was just a loud conversation. I don't know if it was with the supervisor or what, but one of the supervisors who, oversee the hub or what, but, one of the people was arguing like when have I been late, da 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 da, to one of the supervisors, and it just, I want to be able to work, but not work myself to death, and especially not work myself to pennies on a dollar. I want to be able to not only just thrive but to survive, and I think that's the main. I think that's kind of the main theme that I've been having for like the past 5 years, plus. Um, is I'm working these jobs, but like I'm not necessarily loving what I'm doing. I'm not necessarily loving, the things that I'm doing. I'm just going with the flow, and it's okay for now, but I just think that there's more out there for me. And I believe that there's more out there for me. So, I don't know. That was the third red flag. Um the next red flag was I was like, oh, so we don't really know what we're doing, because there's a whole lot of jobs that you can be doing. You could be a feeder, you could be a sorter, or you can be a packer. Those are the three main things. And some people have said being a feeder is the easiest job. Some people said being a pre-sorter is the easiest job. I'm not sure. But we'll try again and see. It's the second day. I filled out two forms. The first form was a form for the union as well as kind of like a tax form for DC. So we'll see about that. But I was just like, I'm not I'm not too sure about this. I might call it a day. Sorry, I'm looking at my teeth to see if they're clean and white. Some of it is, I could use a bleaching. In the words of Nene Leakes, I could use a bleaching. But yeah, I just wanted to come to y'all today and just say some stuff that's on my mind. That was one of them. The job stuff and the job hunt and stuff. I start a new job on the 29th. We'll see how that goes. It's whatever. At this point, I'll work my hardest. Like, I have a lot of insight and a lot of knowledge about the position, but I'm not really 100% sold on it, if that makes sense. It's kind of touch and go from here. Next thing I wanted to talk about was like next thing I wanted to talk about was like not necessarily like roommate stuff, but like kind of roommate stuff, but like roommate stuff. I think the roommates that I have now are a lot more communicative. They're a lot more kind of in tune with their needs. Like if they need something, they'll definitely ask. They definitely should continue that, and just keep the communication going. Because the last house, I felt like, few problems, but the first problem I had was, like, and I don't know if it's just me or if it's just the time frame of who I am now or what, but for a lot of, straight people, I guess they want you to care about their, like, significant other, I guess. and, and I don't really necessarily care for, how can I word this? I don't necessarily like care for straight relationships. Like that's not I don't really care at this point in my life. Like why? It's very tumultuous, and I think that kind of goes into kind of, heteronormativity and how I've had to kind of navigate those kind of areas, as well as the white gaze and how I've navigated those areas as well. But as far as the white gaze, as far as being quote unquote attractive, and that's what I mean, I don't necessarily care too much for straight relationships, especially, how can I frame this? Especially not queer relationships, and especially not white or white adjacent relationships. If they're queer, like, it's okay. Like, I want to know your significant other. I want to know how that relationship plays out. But the two together, like, first you're straight, and then second, you're not queer. So why would I care so much? It's like people want me to care more about their significant other than I do. I'm like Rihanna. If it don't got nothing to do with money or my personal possessions or, my, significant other, I don't care. I don't really have any much feelings about anything anymore. that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, I don't have too much feelings about dumb shit anymore. Like, I don't have energy to put into it, And I think that for a lot of people, they come from a background where people have to they come from a background where people have to care a bit more or put in, more energy and more feeling than it's worth. And I'm just like, look, you know, you know, all I want is good roommates. That's all I want. If we become friends after that, that's great. Whatever, cool. But I'm not going out of my way to I'm not going out of my way for straight people anymore. And I'm not going out of my way for queer people. And I think that, well, I'm not going out of my way for white people. I'm not going out of my way for people who are not queer. I think that's the defining factor for me as far as how I'm framing my mind work around things and my relationships, because I feel like those relationships are very transactional. I'm just going to be honest. From a sociological standpoint, as well as just a personal standpoint, I feel like those relationships are very, very transactional, you know. And also, different, I feel like there are different values that the black community has around, being authentic, being real, being straightforward versus, other communities where that probably, being nice is considered more valued. I don't want someone to be nice to me just because they have to be. I want someone to be authentic with me, and you know, part of being authentic is, you know, not necessarily having to, how can I put it? Not necessarily having to be like, oh, like I'm helping out, Thaddeus, do X, Y, and Z in like a group setting. Like, if you're going to help someone, let that be between you and them and let that be private. It doesn't have to be a whole announcement, first off. Second off, is I feel like I may come off to people as kind of blunt or kind of, not necessarily blunt, but I may come off to people as kind of chastisey. But you know, my whole thing is people can be either you okay, from square one, people can either be smart and they know everything and they don't need your help. Okay, cool. Or you could be dumb and not know what you're doing and you need help. But you can't be two at the same time. And I think with a lot of things, either people feel as though like, oh, like you're being too chastising or whatever, but you gotta pick one or the other. Like you can't be like, oh, I already know what to do. I don't know why X, Y, and Z is telling me about X, Y, and Z, but on the other hand, not know what to do and then feel lost. You know what I mean? And not ask for help at that. So it's definitely one of those things where I'm like, okay, well, either we're going to, help you get better and help you know what you're going to do or not. But don't expect the people around you to like conform to whatever you're doing and then be happy with you at the end of the day if you're not doing the things that you need to be doing, especially in a group house situation. Like, that doesn't work, you know? And then like don't make up rules as you go along. And I think that was the main thing about the last house and this house now. This house is cool now. But it's just like some of the decisions are like weird decisions. And I'm just like, why? Why? How did we come about to that decision? And like, why was no one told about these things? You know? So like the last roommates, they decided to come out with a couch or whatever. They were moving out. They decided to take the couch and move it into the house. Okay, no big deal, whatever. They put it into the other person's room or whatever. It's out of the way. People are moving in and we need that room. So instead of, putting the couch in storage or just renting out, you know, a van or whatever, they decided to put it into the laundry room. Did not ask any one of us, did not say anything. They just moved it. And so I was like, I didn't say anything because at this point I was just kind of like, I'm gonna let other people say stuff before I say stuff because, again, I come off as too blunt, right? So someone else said something, and I was like, it's not in my way particularly, but don't necessarily, you know, I don't want it in my way. And of course, it stayed that way for 2 months. So I'm like, okay, great. But on the flip side of things, it was just like in the way. And then, like, not only that, I was like, I was being asked to like help. And I was like, no, like, I don't want to help. Like, I don't even want to move my stuff when I move out. So why should I help you move your stuff when you move out? Like, that makes no sense. I don't even want to move my stuff. And I have a lot of shit in my room. I don't even want to move my stuff. I'm currently looking up places, you know, whether it's, in a few months from now or whatever, that I can move my stuff. I don't even want to move my stuff. And that's the thing. I don't want to move my stuff. So what do I look like moving someone else's stuff? So I was like, no, I don't want to move your stuff. Like, I don't even want to move my stuff. And then not only that, but I spent years in this house, and I've had to move people's mattresses out of the house because they didn't move it. So I was like, no, I don't want to move your stuff. And apparently it came out too blunt, It's like, no, like I don't know. So they move out, whatever. We have a little party, whatever. Two of them come over, right? Two of them come over. So they don't even say hi, first of all. They don't even say hi. Knowing that I live here and everything, they don't even say hi. So it's kind of like, okay, whatever. I don't really care. Either way. Like I said, if it's not a significant other, about money, or about any of my personal belongings, I don't really care. As long as it's not in my way, I'm cool with it. And so during the party or whatever, I lost the other half of my keys. The other half of my keys were in my hoodie pocket, and I was looking. I thought I lost them outside, so I was looking all over the party for it. I felt really anxious or whatever, so I switched out of my costume, switched back in, whatever. I wasn't even supposed to be here. I was actually supposed to be in Baltimore during that time. So I was like, okay, well, I got my whole gear on, the sexy football player, full face, doing it, doing it up. And so they don't even say hi, they don't even talk to me. I think that was at one point, there was a box of there was like muffins next to me, and she was like, excuse me, and she took the muffins and she went about her way, you know. Again, I don't necessarily, again, how my brain is working, I see relationships as transactional. I don't really care too much. I don't. I already have friends. I love them to death. I don't need any more. I just need people in my life to have a little bit more consideration for others. And they kind of did not. And I'll just say that about that situation. But it just, and I was like, okay, well, you don't seem like you want to talk to me, so let's make it extra awkward. What the hell is an EDR? What the hell is an EDR? I'm sorry, y'all. I just got a message talking to me about a role. So I'm still looking for jobs and stuff, but I just got a message about a role again, and I'm like, I want a position that's in customer service or customer success, and I know those jobs are very like high in demand. I'm trying to give you all the goods of the room. So let's do this. Let's try and get it back. Let's try and get it back. Hold on. Y'all gonna kill me for these camera angles, I'm sure. Okay, perfect. So I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta type correctly. That works. For 4 p.m. EST, or you can call me now. But yeah, I don't really care about white and white adjacent people in my life anymore. It's just it's been too it just has been too much as far as the emotional work that not only that I have to put into those relationships, but also the return of investment. I don't get much out of them. I want to say one of my relationships that I had since in college, I was very, very good, and maybe this is a good thing for a next video, but I was very, very good about my boundaries. And there was a situation that happened in college where a bias incident had happened, and I told one of my friends, I was like, if you choose to be friends with this person, I'm not going to be friends with you anymore. It was very much like that, because it got to a point where I was just like, I'm tired. I'm tired of having to adjust myself because your friend decided to be racist, and now I'm the one at fault for your friend being racist. You know what I mean? Even if it was just a joke, I didn't take it like that, and it shouldn't have been said. Because I didn't like that. And then on top of that, like, it wasn't even like the apology that I got was like satisfactory. Like, it was not. It was basically like, I'm sorry for making you feel uncomfortable, basically. But it was like, when you apologize to someone, you say, hey, like, I'm sorry for doing X, Y, and Z, or first of all, a good apology is, I'm sorry, or I apologize for doing X, Y, and Z. I didn't know, like, how that would offend or hurt you or whatever, and I want to make it better, or I want to make it right. Or at least someone putting in the effort to make it better works for me. Like, you don't even have to say I'm sorry. You just have to be like, I'm putting in the effort to be better, or your actions show that you're trying to be better. But I didn't even get that. So I'm not even holding my breath. And I don't even care how long it was ago. I don't even care. The simple fact that you know that I don't like this person, but you want to be close with this person after I told you the problems that I have with this person. And then not only that, but I feel like for a lot of white people, they expect you to navigate racism the same way that they do. And I don't have to. Because they kind of grow up in situations with people, places, and things that make it okay for people to say certain things. And it's not like they're going to, like, cut those people off, especially if they're like your father, your mother, your uncle, your aunt, your grandpa, your grandma, they're not going to cut those people off. So they have to navigate, racism in a different way than people of color do, especially Black, Indigenous people. If a, if a, if, because that wouldn't even be a conversation or a situation to be had, in front of a Black person. It's just not. I've been in sociology and I study sociology. So 80% of white people live in communities and areas where it protects them from race-based stress. So they don't work in areas where they have to live among people of color or Black people. They don't go to work with people of color or Black people, and they don't have personal relationships with people of color or Black people. 80%. 80%. And that's why and it's okay to be around people who look like you. I'm not saying, again, y'all gonna kill me for these camera angles. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to be around people who look like you. You're gonna want to be around people who look like you. But what I'm saying is I'm not going to go out of my way for someone who's not going to go out of their way for me. And I think that's where I'm at with it. I don't want to put in more in a relationship that I'm getting out of, especially if I'm living with someone and they don't necessarily want to listen to various things that I say will help, or even if it doesn't help. One of my roommates, Kate, I don't agree with her 100% of the time, but she does have good points, and we disagree, but it doesn't have to turn into a thing where it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna just do whatever I want. It doesn't turn into that, which I definitely appreciate, because it's like, it's a compromise, and I think people weren't necessarily willing to compromise. People just wanted to do whatever they want, whatever was convenient for them. They didn't want to have hard conversations, plain and simple. And I'm during this period of my life, I'm learning a lot about myself. I'm learning a lot about how to be in relationships with people, how to navigate my roles with people, but not only that, how to be happy in a group setting. Because, again, I spent most of my life being unhappy in group settings. All throughout high school, unhappy. All throughout, certain parts of college, not really happy with the people who I was surrounding with. Not really happy that I couldn't, have community with people. So I think that being able to be in communities where I'm happiest is a thing that I look forward to doing, even in this post-COVID world, And we're never gonna, be out of COVID, but at least things are returning to a bit of normalcy. Of course, there's going to be a lot of outbreaks that happen, but I just hope that people who can, please, please, please get your boosters, get your shots, because COVID is not going away. COVID is not going away. People who are vaccinated could get sick. People who do not have any sort of vaccine definitely could get sick. And to stop the spread and stop the virus from evolving, people really do need to get vaccinated. I get it if you have a logical reason for not getting vaccinated. I really do get it. But I don't get the people who are not getting the vaccine. Little kids are getting the vaccine now. So there's no reason why a grown-ass adult, you can't get the vaccine. There's no reason why. There's just none. there's some logical reasons for not getting the vaccine, like having very like adverse reactions to um to getting the vaccine, or oh, like I already had a I already had the virus before, so I have antibodies for it, so I don't really need it. X, Y, and Z. It's all training your body to make sure that once you do get infected or come into contact with someone who is asymptomatic, to be able for your body to be able to remember, okay, this is how I fight the virus, versus, oh shit, I forgot. How do I fight this again? Oh shit, we gonna be real sick, you know, versus that. And also versus, having the chance to die of the virus. And I think that's the main thing. So if you guys can, please get get all the shots. There's a reason why we don't die of polio anymore, is because we get the shots. Get the shots. And during the time that the polio vaccine came out, it was only like 80% effective. So get your shots. Please get your shots. That's the second part of this. And I think the third part of this is more so like, I need to definitely speak a little bit more about how I operate under the white gaze, because I feel as though, even though like I'm getting older, I still feel as though, and I surround myself with people of color and queer people especially, I still feel like I'm under the white gaze a lot of the time. And I don't know if it's because I'm not surrounding myself with the right people, or it's because of just internalized things that I have to work through, but I still feel as though I have to work through that a little bit. And just speak about that a little bit, because the effects of it, even now, as I'm like dating, and I'm thinking over, like, should I just date specifically, like within my own race, or should I just keep it open? The benefits to keeping myself open is to, see what's out there for me, and, have a higher chance and probability. But what I'm seeing now is, I don't necessarily see kind of the benefits of doing that, especially with, articles that are coming out and things of that nature, where it's like, you know the chances of you finding someone else of this and this is very, very slim. But they only did cisgender relationships, and they only did straight relationships. I'd be definitely I'd definitely be interested in seeing what that's like, but I don't feel as though it's too far away from the truth of what it is for gay as well as trans people as well. So we'll see. But that's the next thing. Oh, and I didn't tell you I didn't tell you guys. There was one part where one of the roommates were like moving their bike, and I was like, you guys they had a big U-Haul truck, so they just could have, it's just a whole lot, like a whole lot shoulda, woulda, coulda, but didn't. And then I'm like, well, you coulda, shoulda, woulda did this, and you didn't. And then people have a problem with me saying that, even though one of the other roommates who was moving out shoulda, coulda, woulda did, and definitely did do their stuff. It's just kind of like, okay, like, you're moving out. You had like a month and a half to, get your things together. But not only that, but you also had time to just 5 seconds forward your mail. And we're still getting mail. Still getting mail. I don't know. You had like a month and a half, and it literally takes 5 seconds, because I've done it from my home address to here. So I don't know. I don't get into those things. I say what I gotta say, and I move on. I'm like, well, time out, pause. I said that. I was like, time out, pause. You should have been had your mail, should have been had your mail forwarded. I don't get why we're still having mail that's coming. And I worked really hard to get people's mail not coming to the house. If you would have seen the amount of mail that we got from past people, like I'm talking like it came in chunks like this. And I had to like stamp all of them, return to sender, stamp all of them because I had to get a stamp. That's how serious it was. And getting a stamp, return to sender, wrong place, X, Y, and Z. We still get mail. We still get mail. And it's only from like two people, but like still, like one person had sense to say, I don't want none of my mail to come here, which is fine. But, and I was like, okay, so she was able to forward her mail, but other people wasn't able to forward their mail. Like, oh, what? Like, okay, like I get we're all busy and everything, but it literally takes 5 seconds. Again, it be the simple stuff for me, and I'd be like, and I just say what I gotta say and I move on. People feel like it's antagonizing or it's chastising. I say what I gotta say and I move on. That's how I am. I don't reflect on things and be like take things to heart or whatever. People do way too much and not enough at the same time. So it's whatever it is. But yeah. So they had all that time to like move their bike or whatever. So they're moving their bike during the party, and I'm like, you look crazy. You look like don't you, I didn't say anything, but like I was like, you look crazy moving your stuff during a party. And it's more so for my roommate stuff because it's about her like she opened up a small business and it's about her tinctures and everything, and cool, whatever. I lost my keys during that, so I didn't want to make the party about my keys. I wanted her guests to have a good time. I can find my keys at a later date. I was already like stressing out about not having a job. Then on top of it, I lose my keys, so it's like, what the fuck? And not only that, but like I lose my sister's keys to her house, and she didn't make any copies. So it's not like I could go and make a copy of her keys. She's not going to allow me to do that. She's like going to be like, where the fuck are your keys? You know? So I was already stressing out about that. So it's just like too much. So like at a certain part of the night, I called it a night and I went to bed. I was just kind of out of it, and not only out of it like mentally, but like also out of it as far as like socializing. Sometimes I'm an ambivert, so sometimes it could get a little bit, hectic for me as far as, being out with people and then like my battery runs out and I'm like, okay, you gotta go. like, and like my social battery runs out and I'm like, yeah, no, yeah, you gotta go. But I want our guests to have a good time, and it's all in fun. But again, no one said anything to me. No one said anything to me, and I was just as fine with it. And people were like, "Oh, like, are you leaving? Are you like biking home? Like, where are you going?" And she was just like moving her bike, and I was like, "You look crazy!" Like the whole of outside was looking at her move this bike. And I was like, I don't get why people don't take their stuff in group situations. I get if you like leave like one or two things, but like your bike, like you leave a bike and then like on top of that you leave a bolt. Like how much stuff do you need to come back to get? I know when I move out, I'm taking all my stuff. That's just straight off rip. Like I'm taking all my stuff. I'm not leaving anything behind. There's no point. And say for example, if I am missing anything, I okay, sure, I'll come back for it, but I'm not gonna purposely leave stuff without telling the house. Again, it's like making up. People are making up stuff and not telling people. Like people are making up their own rules as they go along. And I was like, okay. And one of my current roommates is like, oh, save us it's going to save us some space in the basement. And I was like, okay. I was like, okay, sure. But yeah, like the whole outside was looking at her move this bike. And it's supposed to be a party about opening up a new business and just enjoying each other's company. It was a networking type of event. So, yeah. So, they leave or whatever. And then they go out or whatever, and they leave. And then there's like a few stragglers here and there. And then by the time I was at the end of the party, I just went to bed. I was just like, nope, I'm going to bed. This is it. And then people left, and then I woke up the next day, and then I found my keys in my pocket. After I was looking outside for them, I found my keys in my pocket. So I don't know. Let me get ready for this next job at UPS. If I see any more red flags, I'm gonna be like, oh, I can't come in because of medical reasons. So sorry. I'll resubmit my application at a later time. And just keep it at that, and not. And I don't want to be put into any more situations where I'm not loving what I'm doing, you know? And my sister's advice is good, but also it's a little bit dated. You know, like when you get like some of the advice from your parents, and it's like dated, and it's like, that's kind of dated, you know? And you don't know if it's going to work for your situation. You're just listening. Same thing. So I'm about to do the same thing. Hopefully I can enjoy my Thanksgiving, enjoy everything. I hope I enjoy my new job. If not, I hope I get a new job. I just want to enjoy life, and I think that's what it boils down to. I haven't been enjoying the people who I've been around. I haven't been enjoying my job. I haven't been enjoying being around family. I just haven't been enjoying anything. And whether that is because of COVID, whether that is because where I am in my life, or, you know, whether or not it's just been, you know, just a hard time just with everything. I haven't just been enjoying experiences, and that's not what living is about. And I hope that in the next couple of weeks or whatever, I can enjoy the people who I'm around, the people who I'm with, and just more so enjoy kind of who I'm around, if that makes sense. But I'll talk to y'all later once I, you know, get the gumption to come back and speak to y'all. So I'll see y'all later with another video, I guess. See you guys later. Bye.